Hi, Honest Discussioner here. I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. This is the idea that God exists outside of space and time. This is a common contention among theists, especially Christians, and it goes a long way in explaining certain things about why Christians believe different aspects of God. It has the added bonus, though, from my perspective, of completely contradicting the idea of the Christian God, and also obliterating any appeal to free will that they might want to make. The idea of God existing outside of space and time basically means that to God, the first moment and the last moment happen simultaneously from his perspective, and all the moments in between as well. Now, this has the effect of basically not just making God the creator of the universe, but he would also have to literally be the author of the universe, in that he created each individual moment in time. Because he wouldn't be able to just create it and sit back and let it play out, because everything happens to him simultaneously. So from that, we would have to gather he creates every single moment individually. And we're just experiencing it as a progression, and it would almost be an illusion, I guess. But whether or not that last point's the case doesn't really matter to my argument here. But the idea that God individually creates every single moment kind of throws out the majority of the theology in the Bible, as well as most other religions. This would make the entire universe, or at least the way the universe plays out, nothing more than a book, a story. He would have to write how every single thing happened. It would be literally determined by him, not even just causally determined. He would have to have literally created everything in every single moment individually. In the same way someone creates a flip book, where you draw a ball here, on the next page you draw it here, and then next page here, and you flip it through and it looks like it's moving. To the person who creates the flip book, they create each of those moments individually in order to create the whole. And if God exists outside of space and time, or at the very least separate from the space and time that we are experiencing, then that's how he would have to have gone about doing it. He would have to be separate from our timeline. He would have to create each individual moment. Now, if you mix this with the idea of biblical prophecy, and the idea that biblical prophecy is basically self-fulfilling, it creates a lot of problems. One need look no further than this to Israel. There are people in power that are literally trying to affect public policy in the way they think the Bible wants them to, that the Bible has prophesized that will happen. They are actively trying to bring about the end of the world in the way the Bible predicts it will. Now, this very prediction that God makes in the Bible creates the future. So how exactly could that be, and free will still exist, if God is outside of space and time? Now, if you're going to say that God is able to predict the future because he's omniscient, that's one thing. Maybe you could get out of that. I still think there's a lot of problems with that. But now when you factor in that he's outside of space and time, Wildcard calls it a post-diction of events. But in this, the prophecy itself is causing the prophecy to come true, which, if you're outside of space and time, you are just literally making it happen. You are literally determining it. Think of it as a four-dimensional painting, if you will, in which if you change any part of the painting in an earlier point in time, that would automatically affect everything that happened after that point in time, anything that what you change affected. Again, this completely obliterates free will. It completely obliterates the entire purpose of the Bible existing as God's message to man for salvation. it really doesn't coincide well with any of the actual teachings of God, because the only reason we would have done anything is because God wrote that we were going to do it. That, I'm not talking about writing in the Bible here. I'm telling that he created each moment in such a way that that is what happened. He wrote it in the same way that someone writes a novel, and they are causing the people in the novel to do what they do. So that's my thoughts on the possibility of God existing outside of time and space. So tell me what you think. Is there any way that you can reconcile this and Christianity in general? Have a nice day. Honest Discussioner, out.